Hello and welcome to Stress Less with me, Jess. Today, my special guest is Christina Becker. Hi, Christina.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
I'm awesome. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm so excited. You know, the best part about networking these days is that you get to meet people that you probably never would have met and from all walks of earth, from different areas. And that's how we connected. We got connected through networking and they said, hey, you guys should be on the podcast together. And that's where we're at now.
Exactly. And I really trusted the person that connected us. So kudos to her.
I agree. She's amazing. She's always put me in the right spot with people. But let's
Nice.
get right to it. Let's tell our people who you are. So you're Christina Becker. You're with a business called Nourish, and
Mhm.
you're an integrative dietitian, coach, intuitive eating counselor, and a Reiki master.
Yes,
Just
I
to
know.
say a few.
Just a few things.
So before we get into the details of the business, tell us how you got started, because I was reading up on you, and you have quite a bit of a journey on how you got to where you are.
Right. Yeah. Well, long story short, but my first career or my past life was actually in dance. So I did study dance in the Netherlands and I had a BA as a dance instructor, which brought me to New York City, where I was just immersed in the dance world for a bit, which was amazing and super fun. And I was supposed to stay for 6 months, but I'm still here. So it's been 25 years in the US, not in New York. But I've been here a long time. And since I had a back injury, I decided I wanted to go back to school and add another profession that is not relying on my body. And since I was already through my dance training, really immersed in the importance of self-care, I was drawn to psychology and nutrition, but I ended up going with nutrition. I did not regret it for a day since I did it. Yes. Yeah. So I became a registered dietitian, and then I've been doing that for 20 years. And through that time, I've been naturally evolving from more clinical work to community. Very early on, became more interested in the holistic or integrative approach, as I call it, because I feel you always want to help the whole person, which is body, mind, soul, and not just treat the disease, as we like to do in the Western world. With little success, I might add. And then I also got into corporate wellness. So there was a lot of prevention. So I really like prevention and help people actually, get good self-care, healthy nutrition, and a healthy mindset, most of all. So they prevent not only illness, but also burnout, stress, and the rest of it. And then the last piece to that is just really the intuitive eating. Intuitive eating is really a non-diet approach, which is my favorite because diets don't work. They stress us out more. And so I'm helping, especially women, let go of dieting and taking care of themselves in a more holistic and self-loving way.
It's so awesome because, especially nowadays with social media, and honestly, like you have that dance background, that appearance that we have to keep, right? That we're told we have to keep, whether you're a mom, you're not a mom, you're a young adult, you're an older adult, like there's an appearance that is told upon us and how we have to keep. And like you said, all these new diets are so stressful. Try this protein bar, eat this shake, do this exercise,
and don't eat, but eat my products.
Yeah.
Don't eat, but eat my products. Yes.
Right. Which we don't know what's in there. We know a good chunk of the stuff that's in there. Just eat it though. Scientists said it's fine. Right. Yes. And so you're taking these kind of gambles on all these new techniques. And what I'm hearing from you, and so please correct me if I'm wrong, is meeting yourself where you're at. What makes the most sense for you? And I think that's where that intuitive mindfulness piece comes in, where what works for my body? Because on paper and on, the dietitian graph where it says you should be eating apples and all this stuff might not work for you. Exactly. So how are you learning about that? How are you taking that time? And I think that's what I'm hearing from you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. That's a wonderful summary. And this is also where that also for me, the Reiki piece came in, because I really try to help people to move through any barriers that actually keep them from hearing their own inner wisdom, which could be our mindset, which of course we are completely brainwashed by diet culture and the outdated medical system. We're too busy to actually listening to our bodies, right? Like, who really takes the time to be like, okay, what am I really hungry for? Am I hungry? Or is it just because it's time to eat? And then there's, of course, also our energetic body. And that's where the Reiki comes in, where it can also help people maybe work through some blockages or release things. So we actually can get the three things together, body, mind, soul. And then really you are the expert of your own body and your own life. And that's really the goal for us.
Yeah. And I feel that with that, when it comes to stress, we feel like we have no control, right? We're getting all this information, we have no control. And so it's very overwhelming. And not feeling in control and feeling overwhelmed, that's a huge piece of stress, right? And so when they're working with somebody like you, or specifically with you, it's very much giving them back that control, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Can you no, say it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, finish your sentence. I was going to ask you something.
No, ask me. I'm good.
Two people are way too nice on this platform. So what I was going to ask you, if you could kind of enlighten us more about what Reiki is. I know I've heard of it, and I've actually tried it myself, but can you kind of enlighten people who have not heard of Reiki and what the benefit of Reiki is?
Great, good question. So Reiki is actually what we call a universal life force or life energy that is available to all, and we all have access to it. But if you become a Reiki practitioner or Reiki master, you get initiated and you're more of a direct channel. So when I work with people, I don't create the energy. I don't do the healing. I'm just a channel to bring it directly to the person that wants to work with me. And then the energy, which is universal, so it is way more intelligent than we could ever be, is going to do what it needs to do, whether that is help with physical ailments or mental things, other energetic blocks that we build up through our busy, hectic lifestyle. And most people feel at the very minimum a sense of complete relaxation and ease and peace. And other people have other experiences during the treatment and might actually connect more with their higher self and get a lot of guidance from that. And that's just like the beginning. There's more to it, but in a nutshell.
For sure. Yeah, just the understanding. You know, when people hear holistic and they hear intuitive and they hear Reiki, some of us kind of go, woo woo, not listening, right? Have you, right? Have you always been invested in this type of, education when it comes to holistic and Reiki? Have you always, you mentioned like psychology and nutrition earlier. Have you always been open to this kind of practice, or did you have to kind of learn on the way and be open to it?
I personally have always been open to it, but it wasn't really part of my practice early in my career. And usually I really work on such an individualized level that I meet people where they're at. So when somebody comes in, they're completely into this. We're having like talk about energy and spiritual stuff without any problems. Somebody comes in and they're not open. I don't touch these topics, and it's not necessary, right? Because I'm going to work with that person on healing at wherever they are, and it's going to be just as effective. However, more recently, I feel like now I'm stepping more into this place where I see the need to talk about the frequency, the energy more, because many of us have very unhealthy lifestyles and mindsets. And I feel like I'm going to start talking about it a bit more directly, especially on my social media and blogs, etc. So because I also want to make it more mainstream, and it is becoming more mainstream. It really is. It's happening. So I feel like now I'm like, let me get out there and use this also to help people that might be interested, but they're not sure. And also the good thing is I am scientifically trained. I have a master's in public health. I'm a registered dietitian. And many people, when they come to me, like, well, if you have that grounded background and you still think these things work, you know what, I'll take your word for it. And that can be very helpful.
I agree. Having an understanding of both sides, right? Not that one's more right than the other, but just having an understanding of both sides and seeing where they kind of both mesh, I think has always been a thing for me too, with my master's in public health as well as one of the reasons we connected. Yeah. But, just having that scientific background, but also understanding that there are other practices out there that kind of really intertwine with the science and how they work. And I think that's really great. But that's kind of what I wanted you to mention too, was how you have that science background, but also how if you are fully into it, great. Let me meet you where you're at. If you're going, I don't even touch me with the Reiki, I don't want any, that's okay too. Like you're just going to meet them where they're at and educate them from there and create that awareness from there. And I think that's really awesome. You're not really going, my way is the only way, this is going to be the best. It's going, hey, let's just meet you where you are and work and grow from there. I think that's for me has always been the best practice for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. Perfect. Otherwise, I mean, people close up more. This is why, like, I would always recommend people that are listening, don't try to convince people, because they're just going to build a stronger barrier towards anything, not even these things. Let people discover these things as, when they're ready, and then it's going to be also more effective. Yeah.
I agree. Just plant the seed. It'll grow. It's going to grow. It's going to be beautiful. So people are listening. Who is like an ideal client, or how do they know that they need you in your life?
They should feel it. They should be like, Christina is the one for me. Otherwise, I would say good clients for me is I've worked with men, women, anything in between for many years. I work a lot with women these days because they are really tired of dieting and body image pressure. So if you have any health issues, or you're just not feeling something is wrong and you don't know which way to go, this is a good because I can help you also with the scientific piece of nutrition, self-care, stress reduction, disease, but I come from a very different angle. So I look at everything that's going on. So basically, if you have any health conditions, or you want to learn how to nourish yourself, body, mind, spirit, without any of the dieting pressure, that is a really good client for me. And if you are already very open or very into all the what we call the witchy woo, which is not, then definitely come my way, because we can talk about healthy eating and your gut issues, and we can talk about crystals as well. So
I love the balance. I love the balance. So to say, okay, so now I go, I need Christina in my life. What is the best way someone can contact you?
Best way is to go to my website, or if you share my email me, or go to my website. There is a contact page there. You can also find me on Instagram at Christina Becker Nourish. And yeah, those are probably the best ways to reach me. And I get back to you pretty quickly.
Love it. So you worked in the corporate world, you worked in dance, you did all these different hats. What is the best advice you would give to a business owner or an entrepreneur when it comes to handling stress?
And we always have a simple answer. I think mindfulness practice is key for everybody these days. And it doesn't have to be meditation. You do not ever have to sit down on a cushion. Just having even 5 minutes each day to just breathe. Breath is a really good way to calm the whole nervous system, to connect with yourself. And it's easy to do. You don't need any equipment. Breath work, mindfulness is crucial, because the more you practice it, the more tuned in you are and listening to your body. And when, let's say, you're working too much, or the stress or something is triggering you. And the more awareness you have when these things are actually starting, that's when you can intervene, versus letting them, overwhelm you to the point where you don't even know where to start.
Yeah. So that awareness is so key. Yes. How many people I talk to, it's always about that awareness. But you mentioned in the beginning, we're just so busy that we ignore so much and we don't pay attention.
Yeah.
Someone's listening. What is the one thing you want them to take away today?
That if you're working on anything health-wise, you always need to factor in body, mind, and spirit, or your higher knowing. Don't just work on one thing. They're all connected. That's
awesome. Christina, before I let you go, I would love for you to join my lightning round. Are you ready?
Yes. I don't know what's coming, so I'll have to be ready.
You have to be ready. You have to be ready. Okay. First question. I know you're a nutritionist and you're a dietitian, but what is your favorite unhealthy snack?
See, I don't say unhealthy.
Okay.
I eat a lot of chocolate. I don't think that's unhealthy at all. But what people would consider unhealthy is probably like cheese doodly type of stuff.
I do like a good cheese doodle,
especially the white cheese, the special
white cheddar.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Christina, are you a cat or a dog person?
It's always both, but cats win because they purr, which is sound healing.
Oh,
sorry, dogs.
I think he's purring back here. That's what it sounds
like. It's sound healing. Put him on your body.
He is a good snuggler. Okay. Are you a texter or do you like talking on the phone more?
Phone or short text. Yeah.
I
Yes.
like the input of short text because I can't do the long text either. No,
Oh
no.
no, I like real connection. I like real human connection. Yes.
Yes. Yes. Are you a beach or a mountain person?
Beach.
Yeah.
I have both. I mean, I'm lucky I have both, but
Yeah.
yes, warm beach, warm water.
The way to go. What is your way to relieve stress?
Sleep, meditation, movement.
Yeah. And last one, what book would you recommend or would you read over again?
Oh, so many, but I'm gonna go with Eckhart Tolle, A New Earth, or any of his books. That's a really good introduction to mindfulness. Hint,
Oh.
hint.
Take notes. The New Earth. That's what you called it, right? The New Earth. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Christina, I'm so excited you came onto the podcast today. Thanks so much for making time out. You've been such a joy and a pleasure. And I'm just so excited we got to connect.
Thank you for having me. Me too. And I hope we'll stay connected for a long time. And thanks for what you do. This is so, so valuable to everybody.
Oh,